Hey Tribe, this is Jonathan and welcome to an all new real estate news brief where we deliver to you news that is intended to help you multiply and protect your wealth in and through real estate. This week, beginning November 16th, 2020, we discuss a few things. Number one, economic news and how mortgage delinquencies are on the decline. Two, mortgage rates slightly increase. The pandemic migration hit 16 million and condos are headed for a comeback. And before we begin, happy early Thanksgiving to all of you. I hope you have a great time with family, even though I know that if your family is like ours, Thanksgiving this year is going to be a little different because of the pandemic. Let's get right to the headlines today. In economic news, we begin with news from just the recent few days, and it shows mixed results. On the mortgage delinquency front, we have some good news that delinquency rates are down 3.10% according to Black Knight's Mortgage Monitor most recent report, and serious delinquencies have improved for the first time since the start of the pandemic period. This comes at a time that more than 2.3 million homeowners remain 90 days or more past due, but they're also not in foreclosure. The overall picture indicates an overall improvement. This has resulted in approximately 821,000 mortgage holders that are a single month behind on payments, down nearly 20% from pre-pandemic levels, and the lowest such volume on record dating back to 2000, according to Black Knight's Mortgage Monitor most recent report. I'd recommend you take a look at that. Black Knight puts out some incredible data. Now, despite high employment numbers, consumers are spending money. The government says that retail sales rose for a fifth month in a row. They were up almost 2% in September, which is much higher than the 1.2% increase that economists had forecasted. They've returned to a pre-crisis level as Americans buy cars, they buy clothes, they spend money at newly opened restaurants, although it seems as though a lot of these things may close down in the next few weeks or 1 week. Many of those cars, trucks that were purchased were used vehicles with higher price tags because of the demand. That helped nudge the consumer price index higher, but it was the slowest rate of inflation in 4 months. The index rose just 0.2% in September to an annual rate of 1.4%. What does this mean for consumer sentiment? Well, it's inched higher despite headlines about an increase in coronavirus cases and unemployment numbers. Some economists say that Americans are worried about those things, but they are optimistic about 2021. Let's now transition to mortgage rates. Mortgage rates slightly increased this week. Freddie Mac says the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage adjusted to 2.84% for 30-year. The 15-year was adjusted to 2.34%. Interest rates have been below 3% for 15 weeks in a row. Freddie Mac's chief economist, Sam Cater, says that low mortgage rates have become a regular occurrence in the current environment, although not everyone can take advantage of them. That's true. Now, in other news making headlines, we see some interesting things happening. Number one, and this is something to pay attention to if you are an investor looking to purchase properties at discounts where there's going to be a current or future demand. Pandemic migration hit 16 million. There's new evidence that people are moving away from big cities to more suburban or rural areas, according to mymove.com. They've collected change of address data from U.S. Postal Services, and it found that almost 16 million people filed for a change of address from February to July. I think that number is even higher now. That's 600,000 more than the same period last year. The number of 600,000 more from last year. The number of permanent address changes was up 2%, while the number of temporary address changes was up almost 27%. A recent Pew Research study conducted in June shows that many people are moving to really accomplish a few things. Number one, reduce the risk of a corona infection. Two, others say they move to be close to family, or 3 to return home from a closed college campus. Some also cite financial reasons, including the loss of a job. We'll have to see whether people return to their former urban lifestyle when the pandemic is over, but many experts believe that this trend is here to stay. Lastly, is there a condo coming back? Well, condos could make a comeback as single-family homes get more expensive. Redfin says that many people want the space and privacy they can get with a single-family home, but the problem is that the price gap between single-family and the condo is growing. It says that year over year, single-family home prices were 11.9% higher in August to a median of $343,000, while condo prices were up just 5.4% to a median of $266,000. Now, Redfin's lead economist, Taylor Marr, says if prices keep rising, condos may be the only type of home that many people can afford. And that transition may already be happening. In fact, many experts say that it is happening 100%. Marr says that condo sales rose 11.8% recently on a seasonally adjusted basis compared to 10.8% for single-family homes. It may also be easier to find a condo to buy. Redfin says the supply of condos was up 2.5%, while the inventory for single-family homes was down 26%. October rent collection shows some favorable adjustments. Rent collection for multifamily properties is holding up well for October. Those are the numbers that we have right now. The National Multifamily Housing Council says that 94.8% of apartment households paid their rent. That's 1.4% lower than it was on October 13th of 2019, but it's slightly higher than last month. The council gathers information from a survey of 11.5 million units across the country. Council President Doug Bibby says the industry is showing resilience, but there are growing signs of distress that are clear. He says perceived quick fixes like eviction moratoriums do nothing to solve the underlying economic problems residents are facing and could jeopardize the stability of the housing market and the financial health of our communities. He says Congress and the administration must act to avert a future housing crisis. This is one of the things that I have talked about. In fact, the recent video that I posted, I do believe we're going to see a stimulus come out. It seems as Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, I can't talk this morning, fumbling for words. It appears as he is a proponent for this. So it seems as though this will likely happen, but we're still waiting for Congress. So folks, I hope this video was helpful. This is the Real Estate News Brief for the week beginning November 16, 2020. I hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving, and until next time, we'll see you then. Take care.